I don't even know if I'm in frame. It's very cold, very windy. You find us at West Point two-gun match. It is November 1st, and I'm lucky to be here because this match was canceled a long time ago because of the government shutdowns. And to make a very long story short, here we are, very last minute. This is an introduction video for my Mach 12, as I am dubbing it. This is a Mark 12-ish style upper, ballistic advantage, 18-inch barrel, handguard and upper that I had, and just a bunch of old parts. I built this entire upper for less than $100. Granted, not including the optic or anything like that, but this thing has been, quite frankly, awesome. I really love this configuration. It shoots really, really well, and it's just, it puts a smile on my face. Got the Vector Continental 2-12 and the first gen PB3 from Lead and Steel on this. Both of them have 50-200 yard zero. I'm shooting M855 today. Max target looks like about 300 yards, but we have 15 to 25 mile an hour gusting winds. So it should be pretty interesting. That's about it. This match, I'm just gonna run it just to push this optic a little bit, see how it fares, and just break the rust off, because it's been a long time since I've done a match. That's really it. I'm not expecting anything to go wrong. I do plan on running the optic for the majority of the engagements. If there's any paper that you have to hose, I probably will run the PB3. But for the vast majority of everything that I've seen so far, I'm just going to stick with the Vector. That's basically it. So enjoy the match.
This was my fourth time running the two-gun match here at West Point, and for this I really wanted to run my Mach 12 for a couple of reasons. First off, I've run my bolt actions here, I've run my 14.5 AR-15s, and I really wanted to run something a little bit different. Plus, I wanted to run the Vector Continental 2-12 by 44 a little hard. And I figured what better way than to do all of those things at this match. The first year I shot this match, we did have targets out to 300, but the subsequent two following that didn't go out that far. This match happily had targets from 100 to 300 at varying distances and varying sort of orientations, stage by stage. Sadly, 4 of these stages were pistol only, or stage gun with pistol only, and 4 of them were pistol and rifle at this part of the match. First stage, so far, so good. Zero looked like it was holding pretty good. Winds were very strong, coming right from left, full value wind. And as you'll see, probably later on when the sun's at a slightly better angle, the dust down range really just kicks up and just pushes left really, really hard. For pistol work, I am running my CZP-10C with a full-size EPS on top. It's a trustworthy gun. I love this thing, and I shoot it extremely well. Probably on par with my 5-inch M&P competitor. For the 8th stage, we had to start by stabbing your captor, and then dialing in a combination on combination lock. I really like this. It adds a little bit of pressure and stress without being too overly complicated. Also, those landmines are plus 15 or plus 30 seconds, so don't hit any. And don't break them. Like if a shell casing hits them just right and they crack, that counts as a hit. Also, don't drop your magazine on them either, because if they break in any way, shape, or form, like a real IED, you'd be screwed. So when I do my mag change right here, I make sure that I throw the magazine as far outside the perimeter of these landmines as possible. Some of these pistol targets were roughly 50 yards away on an A zone, which is not easy on the best of times, let alone with high winds and high stress. It's the first time I've run the CZP-10C under the clock in a very long time, but I did much better than I was expecting to. As far as how the Mach 12 ran, this is the first time I'm really pushing it out. They had a target array at 200 and a target array at almost 300, like 150, like 250, and I go shot for shot. This is the only time I wish double taps were involved, because it would have made things a little bit trickier for a lot of other people. But with this rifle setup, it was a breeze. It was at this time that I said, maybe I should beat on this gun a little bit harder. I am trying to test this optic, and I haven't really done a lot of longevity and durability testing. So from now until the end of the match, I dropped the rifle a few times from, like 3 to 4 feet. And I'm not gentle with it. I said, you know what, I really don't care about my overall score on this. I just want to see how all of this is going to function. We are missing a stage where it's a blind stage and no one was able to film it, but it's the simple same array that I've done numerous times, which is a lot of fun. I tied for the top score on my squad, tying with a couple of other people at 16 out of 18 possible points. This stage was a lot of fun. It's always cool going around doors. And I shot it, again, pretty well. One of my several cameramen for the day completely missed the beginning of the stage where you're holding a shovel and you have to hit a popper with it and knock it over. I did a pretty fun job with that. But this is, again, with the exception of the full automatic AK, this is a pistol-only stage. There's one more after this, and then we're back to the long-range stuff. Pistol work, I really can't say much other than practice does make perfect, and I would love to be able to get to the range a couple times a week to really practice with pistol, but logistically it's just not happening. I shot the stage, again, pretty well, and I can't really complain about anything other than I scraped the crap out of my right knuckles landing on that pallet. And just for good measure, another drop. That, what you're missing, was part of a bonus stage, where if you hit the birdie, a plastic birdie, you got 5 seconds reduced from your time on the stage. And what you're about to witness is a stage-winning performance. I was not expecting that. Again, I'm kind of rusty on pistol, and I went almost 1 for 1 on these targets. I just had a nice little hop, and everything sort of fell into place. I wasn't trying to go fast. I was actually really trying to make sure I had everything dialed in perfect before I broke the shot, and it paid off, because that was the fastest by a few seconds. And then another careless drop. Stage guns are awesome, and I'm very happy that we were able to shoot full automatic at this match, because last time that we had this match, they were under drought warning, so we couldn't do any full auto. So very happy that we got the chance to do that. Again, my cameraman sort of missed the ball on this, and this is my worst performing stage for rifle. Targets here varied out to 300 yards from about 110 or so out, and I start off pretty strong. We had to go in between about a 200-yard array to a 300-yard full-size IPSC, and then back, and then it was transitioned to, as you will soon see, a tank trap, which I had a game plan in mind. I was going to deploy my bipod, get real low, and clear the multiple small targets at 200 or so yards, and then go back to the 300-yard targets. Unfortunately, when I get in the prone, one of those berms out there was obscuring the majority of the view of my targets. I had the vector here at 4x. No, I lie. I had it at 5x. Earlier, I had it at 4x, and it did very well. I bumped it up just so I could see those smaller targets at 200 yards a little bit better. I was able to call my shots, but out here, the wind was really whipping. But because I'm shooting M855 out of an 18-inch barrel, I only had to hold right edge. A lot of the guys in my squad had to hold a target or two off to the right-hand side. A lot of them were running 14.5. So velocity does matter, as does probably a little bit heavier bullet weight. After I sent a couple rounds into the berm and I realized I can't see all 6 targets, I go to the same position everyone else was going to, and I ended up clearing this perfectly fine from this position. I just wanted to use my bipod. You know, I have a bipod. I like to use it. But that berm, just in front of those 200-yard targets, really wreaked havoc with my overall performance on this. I'm not upset, but it's just one of those things that you live and learn. Also, the RSO didn't see that I had hit the longer range target transitioning between targets, and I engaged it a couple more times just for good measure. So overall, not the worst. Our final stage of the day is also my best performing stage of the day because I took another stage win on this. A lot of pistol, a lot of rifle, and a lot of aggressive transitions. I really like how this stage was set up. I like moving a lot. I like a lot of fast movement. I like a lot of stress under trigger. I sometimes tend to perform better that way. And it just keeps me, honestly, not thinking as much. It's just go. Don't think, just go. I cleared the pistol clean. I didn't miss a shot, I don't think. Transitioning to rifle, we had multiple targets, different colors. So the colors correlate with the PVC shooting boxes that we're in. You had to be inside those boxes and go from one position to the next, 3 positions total. I opt to sit down and get as stable as I can. And as you can hear, my cadence on this is rather slow. I really wanted to make sure that I made these shots count, which for me and my mindset of a DMR style rifle which is a designated marksman rifle, kind of like saying VIN number. Having a DMR is my logic. It makes more sense to that. A lot of people are getting tripped up by transitioning left with the rifle here, especially if you're a right-handed shooter. Unfortunately, we had someone in our squad flag the line, but it's one of those things that you live and learn. I really made all these shots count, like I said, and I was the only shooter of the day, of the 79 shooters, to shoot this in under 100 seconds. I shot almost all the rifle targets clean. I had one or two hiccups with strong wind gust, but it was an extremely therapeutic experience to have shot that as well as I did. And shooting slower and with a better cadence really made me feel good about myself. Overall, I shot this and came in 4th out of 79 shooters, which is way better than I was expecting. I did not expect to take 2 stage wins, but I'm very happy that I did. As far as the overall match layout, I like a lot of what they had to do. I would love to see more rifle target engagements. I'd love to see double taps on longer range targets. I think that would be not only a lot of fun, but a good challenge for the vast majority of people out there. For me, with this rifle, it doesn't move under recoil. It doesn't do anything. You pull the trigger. If you have a good stable position, you're able to send a follow-up shot very fast. So for me, it might be a bit of a cheat code, but it would be fun just to shoot more. I would love to shoot this match every few months. For the price, for the location, for the staff, for everybody that's there. It's an amazing time, and I urge you, if you are in the area, to go shoot this match. It's incredible, truly something special. My performance, I was blown away by it. I wasn't expecting it to be anywhere near as good as it was, but I will say that most of that was down to my gear. I was running a battle belt, a padded battle belt, over my jacket. I was very comfortable with that. I was as lightly stacked as possible. Just 3 pistol mags, 2 rifle mags, and that was it. Pistol and rifle. CZP-10C, I love that gun. I'm actually waiting for another slide to come back, direct milled for an EPS carry, which I think I'll like way more and shoot probably easily as good, if not better. But as far as the rifle, I'm very pleased with how this thing shot. I love the Mach 12 upper. I love the Mark 12 concept, and it works extremely effectively. It is much heavier than a 14.5 or even a 16-inch. I was thinking about maybe going to a 16-inch barrel, but this thing shoots so good and cost me so little money that I'd be a fool to change it up. Optics-wise, the Vector Continental held 0, even though I dropped it 4 or 5 times. I dropped it once off camera. I was like, maybe I should record this for the next one. And I just wanted to see if it would hold up. And everything was fine. The UTG mount that's in, the AccuSync mount's like $35. That's fine. The optic is fine. It took a couple of good shots into the hard dirt. No problems whatsoever. The PB3, I never ran only because I didn't have to. If there were targets up close, I absolutely would have ran it, but there's no sense in me transitioning from one to the other. The Magpul bipod, that's one of their new QD releases for M-Lock, absolutely fantastic. I prefer it. I want to say I prefer it over Harris bipods. I'm going to say it's just a really slick setup. As far as the match overall, like I said, this was great. I'd like to see a little bit more long range stuff. The last stage of my day was stage 6. That was absolutely by far my favorite. Probably the longest of the stages that people had to do, only because there was so much movement and so much shooting. I would like to have seen the other stages be a little bit more on par with that. I love how there was very little to no reset on any of the rifle targets. It makes the whole entire experience that much more enjoyable. And with all that being said, a very huge thank you to Coach Gary, as well as all of the members of the Combat Weapons team for making this match possible. It really was one of the better ones. And as always, a huge thank you for all of you for staying tuned. As always, I'll see you again next time. And a huge thank you to my Patreon providers and my Subscribe Stars subscribers. Without you, this truly wouldn't be possible. If you'd like to support my channel but don't want to join either of those, I completely understand. But you could still help by using my affiliate links in the description below, and or like, share, and subscribe as always. Again, thank you very much.